In today's video, we are in the south of Wales. We're doing something that prior to 1996 was the norm. You see, before the Prince of Wales Bridge was opened in 1996 to cross the River Severn, this M48 motorway was actually the M4, and it's about to change again for trucks. We're going to take a closer look at what's happening. We're also going to take a closer look at some ladders falling off a car. So let's discuss it. One trucker's eye.
This is the last time. The last time.
So this could be the last time that I actually cross this bridge in a HGV. It's certainly going to be the last time for the foreseeable future. On this crossing I was heading back towards Wales. The bridge is set to close from the 27th of May to HGVs and all vehicles above 7.5 tonne. We'll talk about that more in a second. You might notice an Asda HGV on the other side of the bridge. This is already the third Asda truck that we've seen in this short clip. Asda being one of the many companies that are set to be affected the most by the incoming restrictions. But it's not just going to be Asda that will be affected by these restrictions. Other companies in the same kind of area will also see the effects. But did you know that this section of the M48 motorway actually contains 4 different structures? There's the Severn Bridge, this bit that we're on now is the Beachley Viaduct, and the bridge that we're going to be crossing very shortly is the Y Bridge. That's the bridge that crosses over the River Wye. The 4th structure that makes up the original Severn crossing is the Ost Viaduct on the English side. We'll be taking the next exit after the Y Bridge and onto an industrial estate, where apparently there's a dragon on the loose. I'll see you there. This is the descent into the New House Farm industrial estate in Chepstow. As we said earlier, Asda are just one of the companies who will be hit by the restrictions on the old Severn Bridge. And this here is just one of their many distribution centres. From the air you get to notice how big an operation this is, whether it be Asda's own trucks leaving the depot on their deliveries to their superstores, or whether it's the hauliers and suppliers delivering goods into the depot. Asda are not the only supermarket to have a distribution centre on this industrial estate. Tesco's also had their own distribution centre, but back in 2009 announced their plans to close the depot and move all of its operations over to the other side of the River Severn at a new depot in Avonmouth. This large warehouse with the grey roof is the old Tesco's distribution centre. It is now being repurposed and is in use by somebody else. You'll also be able to make out the Y Bridge just on the top right of your screen. This shows you how close this industrial estate is in proximity to the Severn crossing. But as you'll see from this piece of footage, there are very many companies here that rely on trucks. But what's the big deal with some restrictions being placed on one of the two bridges that cross the River Severn? Surely these trucks can just use the other crossing. And of course they can, and that is what they'll do. But here's the problem. If, like today in the video, I used the old Severn crossing to get to where I was going, then my journey would be around 7.5 miles from just prior to where the M48 and the M4 split. However, with the bridge getting close to HGVs, just like it is when there's high winds, drivers have to take the M4 across the Prince of Wales Bridge, go all the way up to Mega and then turn round and come back. This adds a further 14 miles to any journey made to that industrial estate where the Asda distribution centre is. For a HGV, that's well over a gallon of diesel in both directions. And when you factor in the extra driver's wages for the extra time that it takes, and times it by the many hundreds or even thousands of trucks that do this journey daily, it all adds up. But here is an even bigger issue. But what would happen if the new bridge had to be closed for some reason? Maybe an accident or something. How would you get across then? Depending on the height of your truck, you may get lucky and be able to navigate your way down the A48. This would save you some miles, but it's not the best of roads. But this is the main diversion route. It takes you all the way up the M5, across the M50 and down the A449 towards Monmouth. As you can see, it's adding quite a bit of mileage onto what was a 7-mile crossing. Obviously you may be able to see on the map the road that runs between Gloucester and Ross-on-Wye. This road is not ideal for trucks and is very narrow in places. But what is the problem with the bridge that is going to cause at least 12 to 18 months worth of restrictions? Well, it's about to fall down. So I suppose that's as good a reason as any. Well, actually that's just me being a little bit economical with the truth. In reality, the cables that hold up the bridge are deteriorating. So it is probably a good idea that they get the work done while they can. From what I can gather, the restrictions on the bridge include closing one lane in each direction. So as well as all HGVs heading for the Prince of Wales Bridge, I've got no doubt that other vehicles will too. One thing is for sure, it's going to be a grim year or year and a half crossing over the River Severn. And with National Highways once again being involved, let's hope it doesn't go the way of the Wentbridge Viaduct. If this work on the Severn Bridge takes as long as that to complete, we may never see it open to HGVs again in our lifetime. I do hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, please give the thumb a little click, preferably the one with the thumb in the air. A massive thank you once again to all of my subscribers. If you haven't subscribed, then please consider doing so. I'm going to leave you with a little bit of footage from my penultimate crossing of this bridge from Wales over to England. I'll see you all next time. One trucker's eye!
I might have been killed.